at the table, and he came in and was asking for a kiss, kind of like this, and he grabbed her by the face and did a lip kiss on her there. And that was the one that was close. You know, when you're like 2 feet away from it, I wanted to freak out. It was weird, you know.
Yeah, it was weird, like a non-blood uncle.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, okay. And even just anyone, I don't know. I wouldn't kiss.
We're very protective people. We're protective people. We love our niece.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild to think about, but the Daystar story started almost a year ago. And now, after all this time, we've got some big updates. So, has anyone been arrested yet? Not yet, but what we do have are some pretty shocking police interviews. Jonathan Weiss and Rebecca Lamb sat down with investigators and talked about what happened. And guess whose name came up a bunch of times? Josh Brown. Yeah, we all kind of knew it was him, right? But there's more. Another person has come forward. They say they saw Josh doing something really wrong with Jonathan and Sue's daughter. That's serious. We're trying to figure out how she's involved and when she saw it all happen. There's a lot to unpack, so stick with me through the video as we go through everything. Before we jump in, welcome to the channel.
Sorry about missing you a few times.
That's all right.
Yeah.
This body cam, I gotta record that.
You just go ahead and sit over there, and I'll just sit. Is it better? How you want to do it?
However you want to do it.
Okay.
Usually I like to let people that obviously aren't detained or arrested be close to the door. So,
Okay.
start this one. Well, how's your day going so far?
That's okay. How about you?
It's all right, busy.
Yeah.
3-day weekends are always terrible, you know. We come back and you have 3
Everything.
days of
I know.
There's only 3 of us back there, so. I mean this with all due respect, all I know about you guys is what I hear on the media stuff, so
Okay.
tell me a little bit about yourselves.
Sure. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca.
I'm pumping, by the
Ladies
way,
first.
so I have a baby.
I'm very familiar with that.
Okay.
I was not. I asked her.
I felt so awkward. I was like, it's just it's a timing thing, you
Yeah,
know.
it's not.
I was actually thinking, I'll try to record this. I was, wait a minute, what do you want this? No, I thought.
Yeah, record him.
There you go.
No, go ahead.
No, we've been married for almost 7 years. We have 3 kids, 5-year-old, 2 boys and a girl, 5, 2, and 8 months. What else do we say about ourselves? I'm the youngest in the family. He's from California. I've been here my entire life. My joke is that I've never been able to get out of here. And yeah.
All right, let's jump into it. We now have police interviews. Yes, actual interviews, thanks to a public records request made by Jonathan and Susie Lamb. These came straight from the Colleyville Police Department, the same team that's been handling this case from the very beginning. Just so we're clear, as of November 3rd, 2025, the case is still officially closed. It was last shut down back in May 2025 for the second time because investigators were waiting for the young girl, Little Lamb, to speak up and name Josh if what's been said is true. They've made it clear, if she ever decides to talk, the case can be reopened at any time. But now, with this new info, could things move faster? Maybe. Let's talk about it. From the start, people have been hoping Rebecca and Jonathan Weiss, JW, would come forward and tell the truth. None of us knew they had already spoken to police. I didn't know either, but they did. And it happened way back in January 2025, just 2 months after the story first broke. Detective Nick Garcia from Colleyville PD has been leading the investigation from day one. Around mid-January, he tried to visit JW and Rebecca at home, but they weren't there. So he called JW around January 15th. JW didn't answer right away, but later called back and they set up the first interview for January 21st. In that room were Detective Garcia, JW, Rebecca Lamb, and one of Daystar's attorneys, Michael Heskell. During that first interview, JW and Rebecca didn't seem totally sure about the allegations or Josh's intentions. They even said that when they told Susie what was going on, it felt like she didn't care. JW described a moment where he saw Josh try to kiss their daughter. He said he waved his hands to get Susie's attention, but she ignored him. Susie later said she didn't see Josh do that, but she did remember JW waving around. The interview also touched on deeper questions, like whether Jonathan Lamb was trying to take over the Daystar network from Joanie Lamb. Joanie has spoken about that before, so it's not new, but it's part of the bigger picture.
Concerns for Josh or something?
Yeah. I wrote like
Not really.
not really like, more like a brainstorm of like what I've witnessed, and like my concerns, and just what I found was alarming.
What kind of stuff was alarming?
The behavior of Josh towards, like, I saw him, force himself on her to kiss her in the green room setting on 2 separate occasions. And both time I was just like, ooh, just why is he doing that? And I just went and told parents, Jonathan and Susie, I was like, hey, just so you know, I saw this. Well, one time Susie was sitting there.
She was there.
And I was like going like this, like, Susie.
We were like, hey.
She was like, double the distance from where you are to me. And I was like this. And she was kind of pretending like, I don't know what that was. She was pretending like
she wouldn't say anything.
she couldn't see me, which I was doing this. I'm not small,
Yeah.
and it's not a big room. So, I don't know what that was, but that was one instance where I saw him like grab her and her trying to shrivel, kind of how kids like, and him force a mouth-to-mouth kiss. And then a separate occasion, I was very close. I was like this distance. I was sitting at a fridge with my back, and he was coloring at the table. And he came in and was asking for a kiss, kind of like this, and he grabbed her by the face and did a lip kiss on her there. And that was the one that I was close. When you're like 2 feet away from it, I feel like.
After Jonathan and Susie Lamb got the police interview videos through a public records request, as the parents of the alleged victim, they handed them over to the Roy's Report. That's the same outlet they originally shared their story with, so it makes sense they'd go back there. They've said from the beginning they just want the truth to come out. Jonathan and Susie later admitted they were disappointed with the first interview that JW, Jonathan Weiss, and Rebecca Lamb gave. They felt it didn't show how seriously they were taking things. They said they never ignored what was happening to their daughter and had been working with Colleyville police from the start to get justice. Between the first interview on January 21st and the second on January 28th, JW and Rebecca reread a letter JW had written back in 2021, the one he sent to Denise Boggs. That letter brought back memories, especially of the beach house incident we've been talking about for a year now. JW and Rebecca remembered being outside by the pool. Susie had sent the little girl upstairs to change into her swimsuit, and Josh ran up right after her. As they talked about it, Rebecca's tone changed. She said, I always knew something was off with Josh. Something just didn't feel right. JW described seeing Josh allegedly kiss the little girl on the face and cheeks. He said she looked uncomfortable, like she was squirming. He said, that's weird. Why would he do that? It doesn't make any sense. Then came new information we hadn't heard before. JW said he recently learned about another alleged incident involving Josh and the little girl. This time it wasn't seen by JW or Rebecca, but by Joanie Lamb's cleaning lady, Sylvia Gonzalez. Sylvia said she remembered seeing Josh and the little girl in the pool together around the same time as the beach house trip. She claimed Josh was kissing the child all over, on the head, neck, and face. Sylvia was shocked and disturbed, saying, why would you do that? She's only 3 or 4 years old. Detective Garcia, who's been leading the case, asked if Sylvia would be willing to speak. That could be a big step forward. There were a lot of emotions in the room. People were trying to gather their thoughts. Relationships were strained. Sometimes they were on good terms with Jonathan and Susie, sometimes not. Even the attorney in the room got nervous and said, I thought we were keeping this low profile. JW replied, we'll keep it as low profile as we can, as long as we get to the truth. At one point, JW and Rebecca even referred to Josh as someone who likes the littles, a disturbing accusation. They said if that's true, they don't just want to protect their niece, they want to protect all children from him.
I guess most of the details I got about you guys, or questions I have about you guys, is from all the information that's being just shot out there.
Sure.
One of the things that was mentioned repeatedly was you guys don't allow Josh at the house. Is the kind of the same thing because he's just weird?
Yeah, because he one of the things that he would do is he has been really bad to us through the years, and he would treat us one way when my sister was there or my mom was there, and then when no one was there, he would be, when they were there, he would be decent to us, and when no one was around, he would be mean. And I saw him be that way with my kids.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my kids are not
confuse
dealing
our
with that
kids.
kind of behavior.
Yeah.
And I'm super protective of my kids anyway. And we didn't have a friendship, so there was no reason for him to come to our house. But I don't trust him.
But then after the allegations came out from
That was
then it was like, yeah, you're just not allowed here.
Yeah, that was enough for us.
Yeah.
So it
But
wasn't,
there was other reasons.
okay,
Yeah.
because he's a jerk and
Yeah.
you don't think he's treating your kids right?
Correct.
Okay.
We caught him like being mean to our son once when he didn't know we were looking.
He has manipulative behavior.
And I was just kind of like, I don't want to
I've
want my
caught
kid
him
to deal
lying.
with that, So it's one thing to be mean to me and Rebecca and I as adults, that's like just not tolerable in a professional environment, in my opinion. But you're not going to do things to my kids.
Yeah, that's where I draw the
That's
line.
not going to happen.
My kids aren't going to have to deal with that kind of back and forth behavior where 1 second you're nice and then you flip on a dime. And so it's one of the reasons why I don't trust him.
Okay. That clarifies it for me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Trying to picture the notes real quick.
And because of the allegations too.
It was a combination.
That was I guess before, and then the allegations kind of said, okay, he's not over to the house anymore.
Correct.
Okay.
I don't think they ever really came over.
They never came over.
Right,
We're not friends.
We never were friends. They very much
No.
didn't like us.
Kept their lives private.
Yeah, very much secretive. They really cozied up to Jonathan and Susie because they saw like Jonathan and Susie as like the next ones to lead, and so they very much wanted to be like as close to that as they could. And I think that's part of why they were so into their kids.
Like Rachel and Josh try to be really buddy-buddy with Jonathan and Susie. We
Yeah.
speculated, is it because he was mean to them and then he flipped.
So yeah, I forgot about that.
He sowed a lot of division in our family.
Okay.
And that's something that's not being talked about online. But I personally feel like he has narcissistic tendencies.
Okay. Yeah,
But I don't know, I'm not a psychologist, I can't
I'm not
diagnose
either.
him.
Not either, but every now and then you meet somebody, I'm not saying it's him, but every now and then you meet somebody who's like,
Yeah.
that dude's got issues. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I guess in the Florida house thing, second time, 2021, one of the reports or blogs online said that you guys were upset because you weren't part of a family meeting or something.
not upset, just kind of like whatever. We were outside when the whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Joanie Lamb flew the door open. He was beat red. We were outside by the pool with,
With our son. We only had him
And
at
he
the
said,
time.
it's all going down right now. I caught Josh. And we walked in, and Josh is chasing Jonathan around the house saying, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And Rachel's screaming, and Susie's screaming, and then like,
They all went and
they
met.
all went down to meet in the
We
basement.
were like, we want to be a part of this because we're part of this family.
That was it, yeah.
But
like,
we-
should we be there? It's kind of like, should we talk this out or figure this out? And
Yeah,
they just told us to stay away.
We've always cared. And the thing is, too, is that when all of that went down with someone went upstairs, because there's different versions of that, I have no idea what actually happened because both of us were outside with Asher.
Yeah,
and that
that's
was
true.
part of the problem, too.
And now there's two totally
I just
different
believed
narratives.
Susie.
You know, there's the city view and this,
Yeah.
there's one view that Rachel shared and one view that Susie shared.
Susie
At the
says
time-
he deliberately went up, and then the other version is it was an
Yeah,
accident.
no, Susie says that he went into a trance and his eyes
black
were dark,
eyes,
and
yeah.
then he followed her up the room, and she raced to get Jonathan, and he dropped his toothbrush and sprinted up the stairs and caught Josh staring. And then the other version would be, Israel, the son, wanted to show Josh the city view when they went up together to look at the city view, and then nothing changed. So there's two totally different spins on the same thing.
And we have no
And
idea.
we don't know. Honestly, don't know because we weren't in the room. You can't.
No,
really-
we only saw the after events where my brother immediately came and found us because we were close to Jonathan and Susie.
Okay. You sound like chaos.
So here's what happened next. Sylvia Gonzalez, the cleaning lady who allegedly saw Josh in the pool with the little girl, was scared to speak up. She was terrified of losing her job, especially because she worked for Joanie Lamb. Her whole livelihood could be at risk if she said anything. When Rebecca Lamb heard that, she said, "This confirms what I've always felt about Josh." Sylvia's story matched what Rebecca had suspected all along. Detective Garcia asked, "Is there any way you can get Sylvia to talk to me?" He knew Sylvia cared about the little girl and hoped she'd be willing to help. JW wasn't sure, but Rebecca said, "I'll talk to her. I'll see if I can get her to speak." And she did. Sylvia gave an interview to police on February 4th, 2025. That interview is expected to be released by the Roy's report later this week. Once it's out, we'll go over it and see what Sylvia had to say. All of this came out during the second interview. The attorney in the room even asked, "Does Joanie know about this?" They said no, and that's exactly why Sylvia was so afraid. But she still chose to speak, which is brave. We don't know if Sylvia still works for Joanie or if Joanie ever found out about the interview. But what matters is that Sylvia spoke up. Even with all these interviews, the case still hinges on one person, the little girl herself. Until she speaks, police say they can't move forward with any arrest of Josh Brown. So far, she hasn't spoken publicly. Now let's talk about the letter. Detective Garcia wanted an unedited copy of JW's letter, the one from 2021. He asked the attorney for it, and they tried to work out a way to share it without causing legal trouble or making the police look bad. On March 10th, Colleyville PD tried to get the letter through a search warrant at the attorney's office, but a Tarrant County judge denied it because of attorney-client privilege. Then they tried again, this time at JW's home, but that was denied too for the same reason. 2 months later, the case was closed again. Why? Because they're still waiting for the little girl to speak. Just to be clear, Josh Brown has not been charged with any crime. He was interviewed by police, and we'll talk about that another time. But with everything coming to light, it's becoming clearer what kind of organization Daystar is and what they seem to prioritize. Jonathan and Susie Lamb said in their statement to the Roy's report that they were very happy with the second interview JW and Rebecca gave. They appreciated their honesty and the fact that they didn't hold back like they did the first time. From the very beginning, Jonathan and Susie Lamb said their goal was simple: justice for their daughter. That's what this has always been about. And while many people are frustrated that no arrests have been made yet, we have to remember God sees everything. He knows what's true and what's not. I'll be real with you. Will there ever be an arrest? I don't know. Maybe not. But even if there isn't, there's still eternal justice. That's something no one can escape. People who hurt children or cover up the truth, if they don't make things right, they'll face consequences far beyond this world. Eternal separation from the Lord is the worst thing anyone could face. If you hear, "Depart from me, I never knew you," there's no coming back from that. Some people deny everything. They say it never happened. But if they truly feared God, they'd take a hard look at what's going on and make things right before it's too late. Sadly, that's not what we're seeing. Now about that NDA. Jonathan Lamb said in an interview that JW and Rebecca signed a non-disclosure agreement to stay quiet. But here's the thing. When it comes to possible criminal activity, NDAs don't hold up. And with new laws in Texas, NDAs like that are becoming a thing of the past. JW and Rebecca are still appearing on Daystar, even with these police interviews now out. I don't know if Joanie knows about them or not. These interviews happened nearly 11 months ago, so it'll be interesting to see how things unfold. And let's talk about Sylvia, the cleaning lady. She's scared. She doesn't want to lose her job. But she saw something and she spoke up. Why would she make that up? She's not trying to take over anything. She's just someone who saw something disturbing and wanted to do the right thing. Maybe Joanie already fired her, maybe not. But her voice matters. One way or another, justice will happen. I truly believe that. You can listen to the full interviews over on the Roy's report. I wanted to talk about this because it's new information, and we didn't even know JW and Rebecca had spoken to Colleyville police. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about everything we've covered? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters, and it helps this video reach more people. Let's hit that 1,000 likes goal. Just tap that like button. It's a quick way to support what I do and help spread the truth. And don't forget to share this video across your social media to keep the conversation going.